organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming on Daily Iowan TV, Ped Mall March. Iowa City residents joined the rest of the nation by protesting. And the big event, stay with us for a recap of Dance Marathon 23.
It was an exciting and busy weekend for the Hawkeyes, especially with 2 wins for Iowa wrestling. And we tell you if the Hawks were able to claim revenge over the Huskers on Sunday.
All that and more coming up. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good morning, Iowa City, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nikki Crossway. Yesterday afternoon, over 1,000 people gathered at the pedestrian mall to protest recent executive orders from the White House. Daily Iowan TV reporter Mackenzie Cooper was there to get the story.
Mall in downtown Iowa City on Sunday afternoon. They were there to protest President Trump's recent executive orders regarding immigration. Many people had very strong opinions regarding these orders and voiced their opposition.
The refugee ban, there's a sense of vetting way before they would even come over here, so it's really just a harsh sort of, it's not for national security, I guess you could say.
Some people said they hope these rallies inform the public of the immigration process. Musicians also performed and sang songs with themes of love, hope, and acceptance. All these themes reflected the goal of the protest. Reporting from downtown Iowa City, this is Mackenzie Cooper, Daily Iowan TV.
This year's Dance Marathon 23 raised over $2.5 million for the kids. The organization held their 23rd big event this past weekend and celebrating that accomplishment. Daily Iowan TV Ryan Scott was there.
With 1 more hour to go before the end of the big event, dancers give it their all during the power hour. And then comes the big reveal. This year, Dance Marathon raised $2.5 million.
And to think that just a crazy group of college students can come together and just raise $2.5 million in 1 year, it's just like, it blows my mind. It's so cool.
To some, it's already time to look to the future.
Morgan Kennedy, our executive director, said we start from zero every single year. So starting tomorrow, our Dance Marathon number will be back at 0. And what's so special about Dance Marathon is it's an organization that's 365 days a year. It's not based off of just these 24 hours.
And that will conclude our coverage of the 23rd Dance Marathon big event. Check out more of our stories at dailyiowan.com. Reporting from the main ballroom of the IMU, Ryan Scott, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, I'm very excited that it's going to reach 50 degrees today. Hoping the warm weather stays all week. Let's toss it over to Ryan Scott in the weather studio to find out what we have this week in weather.
Thanks, Nikki. We'll start the day with temperatures in the mid to low 30s, and this afternoon, like you said, we'll have temperatures reach the low 50s with cloudy skies. Have your umbrella on hand this evening as we're seeing an 80% chance of thunderstorms tonight, so again, be ready for that. Tomorrow morning, you'll need that umbrella again, unfortunately, as we're seeing more rain in the forecast and temperatures in the low 40s. Now let's take a look at our 6-day forecast. Temperatures increase this week, and as does our precipitation possibilities. Tuesday, like I said earlier, we're expecting more rain and temperatures in the low 40s with highs for our highs. Wednesday evening will cool down and we'll see temperatures in the upper 20s with cloudy skies. Thursday again, we're seeing cold temperatures with a high in the upper 20s and clear skies. Friday temperatures will heat back up to the low 50s with cloudy skies. And this weekend, we may encounter more rain and temperatures in the low 50s. That's all we have here in the weather studio. Nikki, back to you.
With tensions high on the political field, social media sites are a new battleground for posts and other divisive content. Daily Iowan TV decided to see how this affected the political process. Chris Cervantes reports with more.
If you were to go on social media at any point in your day, you would undoubtedly find some form of content that had to do with the controversial subject of politics. With social media as prevalent now more than ever in society, one has to wonder just what part this aspect of life had in recent politics, specifically this past presidential election.
Regardless of what one thinks of Donald Trump and his use of Twitter, for instance, it's allowed him to be much closer to people and express his authentic views about things in a way that would be harder to do through the media, the news media.
While social media does have an effect on politics, the real question is whether this is a good or a bad thing.
In some ways, I definitely think it's helped. It's made people more informed, and we have the wealth of information at our fingertips, so we're able to find out sources.
The downside of social media is by providing lots of outlets of information and having no easy way to determine what's a reliable source of information, what's not.
With many elections to look forward to, social media looks like the key to build or destroy any campaign. Reporting from Iowa City, this is Chris Cervantes, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, this weekend, a classic cross between sports and politics took place. The Iranian government has reversed its visa ban against the United States. As a result, yesterday morning, the Iranian Foreign Ministry announced that the U.S. wrestling team would in fact be allowed to enter the country and compete in the 2017 Freestyle World Cup. This decision was made in response to the block made on President Trump's immigration ban this past weekend, as well as urging from the International Wrestling Federation. We will talk about Hawkeye wrestling later in the show, but for now, we're going to talk about the biggest sporting event of the year. I just watched it with some friends last night, and it was a record-breaking Super Bowl. Ashlyn Bauer has more in the sports studio.
Thanks, Nikki. It was an awesome game when the New England Patriots came away with a 34-28 win over the Atlanta Falcons in the first ever overtime in Super Bowl history. Now, as for Hawkeye sports, they had quite an exciting weekend as well. Iowa wrestling dominated Friday night against the Wisconsin Badgers. Nikki Crossway was there to catch all the action.
Exciting night here in Carver Hawkeye Arena as the Hawkeyes took on the Wisconsin Badgers. It all started out with an exciting pin from our 184-pounder Sammy Brooks. Nationally ranked number 5 Sammy Brooks earned his 5th pin of the season by scoring 3 takedowns in the first period and then placing his opponent in a cradle to get the fall at just 4 minutes and 54 seconds.
You're not there until the ref slaps the mat, so that's what I was working for.
Brooks' victory got the team rolling through the duel, winning 8 of 10 matches. Brooks' fall was followed by a 3-1 decision from Cash Wilkie at 197 and a 21-8 major decision from Thomas Gilman at 125. Teammate Philip Blocks at 133 was able to get his first win of the season and first career win inside of Carver Hawkeye Arena with a 6-2 major decision. Coach Brands keyed in on the juniors' success.
He's going to factor into our future, and he's done a good job. He's making progress. And that was a big win for him.
After intermission, 141's Topher Carton kept the Hawks going with a 9-1 major decision. The Hawks closed out the duel with wins by Brandon Sorensen, Michael Kemmerer, and Alex Meyer. The Wisconsin Badgers were only able to pick up wins at 165 and 285. The Hawks celebrated with a final score of 33-8 over the Badgers. Number 3 Iowa Hawkeyes will improve to a 9-2 season record as they head to Minnesota. I'll send it back to Ashlyn in the studio with a score of that duel. It's been Nikki Crossway, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Yesterday, the Hawkeyes defeated the Minnesota Gophers 23-11 in Minneapolis. The team's season record improves to 10-2 as they prepare to travel to Indiana. After a tough loss last month in Nebraska, the Iowa men's basketball team set out to get revenge, and that is exactly what they got on Sunday. Liv Corbett and Taylor Van Fleet were at Carver yesterday with the coverage.
Exciting game here, to say the least, at Carver Hawkeye Arena as Iowa took on Nebraska for the second time this year, completing their 3-game win streak. Iowa is starting to see some better defense, holding Nebraska to 70 points. Peter Jock was finally back, dominating the court, playing a total of 30 minutes and scoring 12 points, making his contribution to the Hawkeye win.
I am so proud of him. I mean, he's got 5 assists, 5 rebounds, made his free throws down the stretch. They're top blocking him, they're chasing him everywhere. He had a couple looks. I'm sure he's frustrated that didn't go in, but I thought his shot selection was terrific.
Freshman Jordan Bohannon and sophomore Brady Ellingston combined to make 7 of Iowa's 9 3-point field goals. Bohannon led the Hawkeyes with 15 points, and Ellingston came away with 11.
Who are our shooters? We got to find Jordan. You got to find Brady. Brady was cooking. You got to get him the ball, and that's an unselfish group.
Been getting good looks and shoot, and got to stay confident with your shot. And every shot you take, you got to think it's going in.
Nebraska thrived during the first half, shooting 57%, but still trailed 38-36 at the break. The second half turned into a nail-biter until Ellingson scored 5 straight for the Hawkeyes, and Cook's dunk extended the Iowa lead 65-59 with just about 6 minutes left in the game. After winning 3 conference games in a row, Iowa will be looking to build off this momentum as they face Minnesota on Wednesday. Reporting inside Carver Hawkeye Arena, this has been Olivia Corbett, and now we'll toss it over to Taylor Van Fleet, who has more on this Hawkeye win.
Thanks, Liv. Well, the Hawks could not wait to get another shot at Nebraska, who did defeat them in a double overtime thriller last month. It was a game in which Peter Jock scored 34 points, but ultimately the team could not come together and get the win. This time around, multiple players contributed in a way that the Huskers just could not defend. The Hawkeyes are proving that they are not the same team who lost to Nebraska earlier this season.
It was unfortunate we didn't win that game up there, but what we did was we learned a lot. Our defense in that game was not good, start to finish. And you're not going to win when you play defense the way we played up there.
Not only did the defense show up on Sunday, holding Nebraska to just 70 points, but it was another game in which everyone was contributing offensively, including another standout performance by Brady Ellingson. Ellingson made 3 of his 4 three-point attempts and came up huge for Iowa late in the game. He finished the night with 11 points and 5 assists.
We've just been getting good looks and shoot, and got to stay confident with your shot. And every shot you take, you got to think it's going in.
I have to credit Brady Ellingson. He's really elevated his game, and when he's knocking down open shots and spreading the floor for us, that's huge for us.
Coach McCaffrey said Jock's absence allowed other guys to step up and build their confidence. Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, Taylor Van Fleet, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
With Jock now back into the mix, this rotation will be something to look forward to come Wednesday when they travel to Minnesota, looking to keep this win streak going. In women's basketball, it was a tough loss for the Hawks against the Michigan Wolverines. They were up for the first 32 minutes with as big of a lead as 15 points, but they ended up losing with a final score of 70-72 on Sunday. The women's tennis team swept Montana in the Iowa State Cyclone Sunday. Although the Cy-Hawk series is already clinched for this year in Iowa's favor, that did not stop the Hawks from taking the W. Now in men's tennis, the Hawks played Dartmouth on Sunday and won the close matchup 4-3. The Iowa swimming and diving team also had a successful weekend. They hosted a duel with Western Illinois and the University of Northern Iowa. The Hawks won 21 out of the 24 events. This finished up the swimming dual season, and they will head to the Big Ten starting February 15th. Even though the swimming season is coming to a close, there is someone that is just starting with the Hawks, and that is the new quarterbacks coach for Iowa football, Ken O'Keefe. Now O'Keefe is actually returning to Iowa as he was the offensive lines and quarterbacks coach from 1999 to 2011. He coached Ricky Stanzi and Drew Tate along with many others. He has been with Miami Dolphins these past 5 seasons. O'Keefe stated, quote, "I'm excited to return to Iowa as the quarterbacks coach," end quote. This definitely gives us something to look forward to as football season seems to be quickly approaching already. Check us out tomorrow where we will give you a more in-depth recap of tennis and swimming and diving this past weekend. Nikki, back to you.
Before we leave you today, this past weekend, the Iowa Newspaper Foundation held its awards ceremony to honor news organizations across the state. The Daily Iowan took home 9 first-place awards for their coverage throughout the 2016 year. Top awards included first-place coverage of government and politics, best photo story, and best sports feature story. Congratulations to our co-workers. Well, that wraps up today's show. Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all of the latest news between now and Friday. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Nikki Crossway. Have a great day, Iowa City, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.